A couple of years ago, I put up a video on my old channel on how to make a skirt pattern. If you're interested, you could just click on the link above. On today's updated version, I made some significant changes and included the fitting session. Sorry, but you will need some tools. But the great thing is that they're easy to find and pretty inexpensive. Now the link for that list is located below this video. I would highly recommend using pattern paper when you're drafting your first pattern. The pattern's marked with symbols such as numbers, letters, and dots, and the symbols help to determine an accurate grain line. An alternate to professional pattern paper is gift wrapping paper. Big retailers such as Target and Walmart usually carry gift wrap with dots or grids on the wrong side as a cutting guide. I will take the measurements on my dress form. For those who don't have a dress form, please wear a form-fitting tank top or leotard. Take an elastic band, wrap it around your waist, tie a knot, making sure it hits your belly button or my imaginary belly button, which is the center front on my dress form, the seam that goes right down the center of the dress form. Before we begin drafting our patterns, we need to do a little bit of math. The final equation will be the number that you will use to make your skirt pattern. Let's use an example. For instance, the waist measurement is 27.5 inches. Take the 27.5 inches, add half an inch for ease, and we get 28 inches. Take the 28 inches, divide that into 4, and that gives us 7. Take the number 7, add 1 inch for the darts, and we get 8 inches. So 8 is your waist measurement. The hip measurement has to be taken at the fullest part of the hip area. For example, you have a hip measurement of 35 inches. Add a 1 inch ease to your hip measurement and you get 36 inches. Take the 36 inches, divide that into 4, and 9 becomes your hip measurement. Find the distance from your waist to the widest part of your hip. Begin by coming down 1 inch from the top edge of the paper. The length of the skirt sloper can be anywhere from 20 to 22 inches. Extend a line out using your desired length. Place a mark at the start of the line and label it A. Now take the distance from your waist to your hips, place a mark, and label that B. C represents the length of your skirt. Use the hip measurement that was determined using the formula and extend the line out from points A, B, and C. Create a box by extending a line from points A to C. Label the skirt sloper and draw in your grain line. Use the waist measurement that was determined using the formula, place a notch and label it D. From the mark, go up half an inch and label it E. In order to find our dart placement, we'll have to find the halfway point between A and D. This represents the center of your dart. From that mark, go over half an inch from both sides and place a notch. From all 3 points, extend a line out that's 4.5 inches. That's going to be the length of your dart. Now label the center of the dart F. Take the hip curve ruler and place it so the shallow end is touching the straight edge of the skirt and the curved edge extends out to E. You may have to move the ruler around a little bit to get a smooth curve. Using a ruler, extend the line out from E to the side seam. Blend in a slight curve to shape the side seam. Cut on fold. The fold represents the center front of the skirt. The skirt back is very similar to that of the skirt front. The only variation is the length of the dart. If you prefer to have instructions to follow along with the video, please visit the link below. Draw a line the length of the skirt. Take the hip measurement and extend the line out. Now create a box. Label the skirt back in the same way as the skirt front, but in reverse. Point A is the starting point of the line, B is your hip line, and C is the length of your skirt. D is the waist measurement. Place a mark and label it D. Go up 1/2 inch, place a dot and label that E. Find the halfway point between A and D. Place a mark and label that F. That represents the center of your dart. Go out 1/2 inch from each side and place a mark. Extend a line out from all 3 points, that's 3½ inches. Take the hip curve ruler and place it so the shallow end is touching the straight edge of the skirt and the curved edge extends out to E. You may have to move the ruler around a little bit to get a smooth curve. Using a ruler, extend the line out from E to the side seam. Blend in a slight curve to shape the side seam. Label the pattern and separate the back from the front. Fold the dart excess towards the side seam. If the waistline does not have a nice smooth transition, use a pencil to blend the lines in. Once you've made the adjustment, use your tracing wheel to trace the waistline. Use a ruler to darken the imprints left by the tracing wheel. Once complete, the dart will resemble a peak. Cut the pattern and repeat the same steps for the back of the skirt. Label the waist, hip, and date of your skirt pattern. Before moving on, we need to make sure the skirt patterns are trued. Place the skirt back over the skirt front, making sure that the hip lines and center front lines match perfectly. Normally, I would not recommend using a marker to draft a skirt pattern. I'm only doing this for the purpose of the tutorial, and as a result, I have about 1/8 to 1/16 of an inch that I have to cut away on the side seam. Fold your fabric and line selvage to selvage. Selvage is the uncut portion of the fabric and has the least amount of give. The cut edge is called the cross grain, and if you were to pull the fabric diagonally, you'd get the bias grain, which has the most give. Place the skirt front on the fold and the back a few inches away before pinning. Use a clear ruler and line the straight edge of the ruler against the grain line on the skirt front and skirt back. Make certain that the lines are parallel to each other. If the grain lines are off, your skirt will either sway or look distorted for the final fitting. Add a 1/2 inch seam allowance to the skirt front and skirt back. Use tracing paper to copy the hip line onto the fabric. Carefully cut the pattern away. Make small clips to the darts. Normally you would use an awl to mark the center of the dart, which is also called the apex. However, in this case, because it is a fitting, you could go ahead and just poke a pencil through the fabric or the pattern and the fabric to get an imprint. Sew the skirt as you normally would, leaving an opening in the center back. Make sure to draw on your seam allowances on the skirt back so you have an easier time when you're pinning. Before putting the skirt on, iron it without steam. The following guidelines are essential to a well-balanced skirt. The hemline and the hip line of the skirt have to be parallel to the floor. That means they have to be even to the ground. For fitting issues, please visit the link below. Thank you again for watching my segment. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below the video. If you have not subscribed, please do so, and also follow me on social media. I will see you guys next time.